Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Brayer, and I'm with the Portfolio Management Group here at the ICM Controls. I'll be your host for today's webinar. Again, please mute your microphones and keep your cameras turned off. I would ask you to hold your calls till the end of the presentation, where we'll have an open question and answer session. Additionally, if you'd like to, you can please, type your question into the chat, and then we'll address those at the end of the session as well. So today we're going to have our webinar today is on the Sentry 3-in-1 product. We're going to start by covering, why did ICM do the product? We'll cover some of the critical application needs. We'll do a kind of a high-level overview of what the product entails. Then we'll highlight some of the key, essential components of the Sentry 3-in-1. We'll sum it all up with a why and how our product, adds value, at all the different levels of the food chain. And then we'll close it and open it for questions and answers. So the biggest reason why we chose to do this product is really feature integration. In the industry, there's a need for voltage monitors, surge suppressors, disconnects, but it was not, in a combined universal package. This product solves that problem. It integrates our thermal protection and surge suppression. It provides a circuit breaker that acts as a disconnect. It saves on a lot of wiring as the unit comes all pre-wired, and it has a contactor, integrated into it to switch the inductive loads. So that's the essence behind, why we're doing the product. There's a need to take care of surge protection. Really, it provides the homeowner with really a low cost insurance policy. Transients are harmful to delicate equipment, whether it be a circuit board or any other of our device. They're costly to exchange. They're time consuming. There's protection from lightning induced surges due to storms. And really, at the end of the day, it really extends the life of the equipment and prevents, unnecessary maintenance or service callbacks for issues due to surge. There's a need for monitoring voltage. Not all, as the opening line, not all power is as consistent as people think. I mean, a lot of people sit at home and they turn their lights on and the lights go on, and they turn something else on and it comes on, but they don't realize, how much fluctuation there is in the actual supply of their voltage. So the voltage monitoring is essential to smooth out that voltage profile to protect the equipment from damage due to that variation in voltage. And then ultimately, when that voltage goes outside of prescribed range, we really need a way to break that load and protect it from costly repairs or replacement. So from a high-level overview, the Sentry 3-in-1, provides a NEMA 4 enclosure, our high-end ICM 517 surge suppressor, our 492 voltage monitor, a 40 amp breaker, and a non-latching contactor, all pre-wired into a very convenient package. So our design is pretty modular. All these components can be individually, replaced. We have in the upper left-hand corner our ICM 517A surge suppressor with a maximum surge capacity of 100,000 amps. In the top right-hand corner, we have our ICM 492 voltage line monitor. In the bottom, you can see our 40 amp circuit breaker. And then on the bottom right, our 40 amp non-latching contract or contactor. So that's basically, the guts of our product, and then it's conveniently packaged into that NEMA 4, enclosure. So surge suppression, ICM offers a state-of-the-art surge suppression capability in our 517A. That's our surge component. You can see it there highlighted in the box. We offer it in a robust metal enclosure, so that acts as a secondary safety feature to help, contain surges. We have a maximum surge current of 100,000 amps for a single event. But really what happens is that with our TMOV technology and the way that it dissipates the surge, we really can time after time after time, multiple times, until we hit 100K amp limit, absorb those surges. Our surge suppressor is not a one and done surge suppressor. It's a surge suppressor that can be hit over and over and over again. And as long as it doesn't exceed the maximum, then it will continue to function and do its job, as designed. And then within the assembly, ultimately should, something, catastrophic happen to that, it is a replaceable item, within the enclosure. The ICM 492 voltage monitor, it's same as highlighted, as you can see, it's highlighted in the upper right-hand corner. And you can see in the upper right-hand picture, very easy to read, backlit screen, easily to program. It has, our integral anti-short cycle delay. It's a passive device that's wired in parallel, so it doesn't break the actual load. It breaks the contactor, and that contactor shuts the load down. And again, the voltage monitor can be replaced within the enclosure. And then finally, the enclosure, it's really, it's a NEMA 4X enclosure with an IP66, ingress protection rating. It's plastic. It's about the size of a shoebox, 5x8 by 12. It's about 8-inch thick wall. The other really nice thing about this is that the hinge design is identical on both sides. So depending on the configuration of where it's mounted, you can snap the lid off and then remount it on the other side to make it open the other way. So you can mount it horizontally, vertically, and then adjust the cover to open in the desired direction. That makes it easiest for the installer or the homeowner. So our value proposition, I think that we're a best-in-class surge protection company, and we provide homeowners ultimately with a peace of mind, and we provide value to the contractors and wholesalers. Our robust design, gives the contractor a durable solution. It's pre-wired, it's ready to install. The wholesaler, knows that their inventory space is valuable. So having a robust product on their shelf to sell, is good for them. And then for the homeowner, it just gives them peace of mind. It's simple, it's easy to install, it's easy to promote because it covers a lot of applications, and then for the homeowner, it's waterproof and it has a user-friendly LED feature. And then we have a leading, industry-leading, 3-year replacement warranty, plus and a connected equipment warranty. So on top of everything else, we provide assurance and we stand behind our product. So what makes the Sentry 3-in-1 superior? For starts, we make it here in the United States at our facility right here in Syracuse, New York. We've got best-in-class surge protection with that maximum, 100,000, amp capacity. Our contactor is non-latching for inductive loads, so really it helps to protect that load by delatching when the power is broken. We got an industry-leading enclosure with an IP66 rating, and then you can go to our website and get all the information on all the individual components and the convenient wiring diagrams, and they're all conveniently available on the ICM website. Finally, the ICM power management system, we think we've got a good, better, best advantage. So our 492 voltage line monitor is a really good product. When you add to that our surge protection, our 517A, which is an industry-leading surge protection, it makes it a better device. And now that it's all combined into a single package, we think that we have a best-in-class, encompassing power management system. So that's the end of the webinar. We invite you afterwards to visit ICM Controls. We have a comprehensive media library where you can find product details, application guides, sell sheet, cross-reference. We have a technical support that can be reached at that number, and also you can reach that technical support at info@icmcontrols.com. Paige, now I'd like to open it up to questions and see if there's any questions that are in the chat.
There are no questions in the chat just yet, but this is an open the floor to anyone who may have them.
This is John Finetti. I'm with the technical department of ICM Controls, and I thank you, Mike, for your explanation of the Sentry 3-in-1. I would also like to go over a couple of features that may need a little bit more explanation. That for example, the inductive loads. You may have questions on what is that? What do you mean by, your contactor is rated for inductive loads? So some of other products out in the field might use block relays, and the block relays they're not always rated for UL rated for use on inductive loads. An inductive load is something like a compressor, a motor, something that has windings in it, things like that that work off the principle of an induced current. So inductive loads are much better handled by contactors, and contactors are non-latching. So latching block relays are not necessarily a good thing. If the power goes out, they could stay latched in the on position. Not always a great thing to happen. So the contactor being able to drop out far more safer. We talked about the technology of combining both voltage monitoring and surge protection in one package. This is important because it's not enough to have just surge or just voltage monitoring. We'll take the mini split market, for example. This product is ideal for mini splits because in mini splits, the circuit boards and in fact the entire product is made overseas many times, and the ratings the voltage ratings overseas might be 208, 240 volts, and a lot of these mini splits coming in from Fujitsu, Mitsubishi, things like that, they're going to be 208, 230. Now the maximum allowable voltage in that case is 252 volts AC. Now in the US we run at 240 volts, and a lot of times your typical nominal voltage when you measure it is going to be around 246, leaving you a very small margin to get to 252. And if you go over 252 volts, you're going to fry the mini split board. This is going to be a very costly repair. And the ICM product, Sentry 3-in-1, will protect against that because the voltage monitor in there will keep the voltage under 252 volts. So even more importantly in my mind than the surges, because I think we have more instances of voltage fluctuations than we even have of surges, but you need both, right? So you need to have the 517A in there to protect against those fast acting transient surges. So there's a big difference between voltage monitoring and surge suppression. Voltage monitoring is monitoring of the the amplitude of the voltage, the high and the lows, whereas the surge suppression is monitoring the fast acting transient spikes, which are very high energy but extremely short duration. So you need both of those technologies, and the Sentry 3-in-1 combines them both in one. It has been talked to us by the field that um, they want a convenient way to disconnect. They don't want to have to add in, when you're doing a new installation, you don't want to have to add this product in and then add, another product in on top of it to disconnect power. It's much handier if the disconnect is all in the same box. Again, the Sentry 3-in-1 takes care of that issue. We have the nice disconnect that's in that box to disconnect the service power, and you don't have to have another, ugly piece of equipment sticking off the side of your house. So those are all added key benefits of this product. They talked about the TMOV technology in this webinar. What is that? Thermally protected metal oxide varistors is what TMOV stands for. And what they do is that's the surge suppression function or feature of this product. And what it does is they clamp the voltage, the surge voltage. They clamp that surge voltage at a rated voltage of the TMOV for whichever mode you're protecting, line to line or line to ground. Then that rest of that surge is dissipated in the form of heat. All right. And if you reach, as Mike mentioned, you reach the thermal limits of that device, which is 100,000 amp surge for a single event, then the key factor here is that safely takes itself out of the circuit. It doesn't disconnect the equipment from the service. It just disconnects itself from the line so that the ICM can safely fail, properly, as it's intended to do when it exceeds its lifespan. And then that green LED that's on there will go out. And then you no longer have surge suppression. So there's a sentinel light on there that can be monitored, an LED, to tell you when surge protection is present, and it will go out when it's no longer present. So there's a way for monitoring when the device is active and when it needs to be replaced. So that TMOV technology is really nice because it can take multiple hits over time as long as you don't exceed more than 100,000 amps in one hit. And that's a pretty good surge. So I think you'd be doing a lot more damage to other stuff if you exceed 100,000 amps anyway. So it's a very good, it's our #1 selling surge suppressor built into this nice convenient package with voltage monitoring and a nice contactor to break you from the service for the voltage faults, and also a nice disconnect, convenient disconnect already included. So I just kind of wanted to bring all that together. Some of the nice features of the voltage monitor are that it has a backlit display, which some of the competition may not have. So you can see it in low light conditions. If you're working out there and it's dusk and you can't really see what's going on. Sometimes if you don't have a backlit display, it's hard to see. The other thing that's nice about the 492 is that it has integral anti-short cycle timer built into it. Now, the purpose of that is, let's say you have short cycling of the compressor due to either power outages, or you have the thermostat going on and off, and or other reasons that would cause the compressor to short cycle. With a scroll compressor, there's not much mass in a scroll compressor, and so if you lose power and the power comes back on really quick, the ICM can catch that and prevent that scroll compressor from going backwards. So that's a kind of a nice feature to have that integral anti-short cycle built in without having to add it to the product. So all those features, and the fact that it's made in the USA, we're not going to have to worry about tariff issues that could arise, as we're seeing in some of the news now. You know, these are all great benefits of the ICM product.
Thank you very much, John, for that clarification. To those on the webinar, I just want to let you know that John is, works in our engineering department, and he's, our lead contact person for technical support. So a great example of not only do we have industry leading products, but I think that, based on what you just heard, we also have what I would consider industry leading product support. And those kind of answers, John can handle and does handle on a daily basis. So when you have concerns or questions about our product, John will be, one of the people at the end of the phone helping you out. So thanks again, John, for your in-depth explanation. Are there any other questions from the floor?
We just got one in the chat that's from Matt Morse. When will the 60 amp be available?
The 60 amp is on our roadmap. We haven't assigned a date yet, but when we do assign a date, we can communicate that accordingly. But it is on our roadmap, and we do have visibility to it. Is there any more questions? If not, I want to thank you all for attending today's webinar on the ICM Controls Sentry 3-in-1. And thank you again, John, for your technical support.
Absolutely.